we're on. I think we're on like episode 7, maybe. I'm joined with Silvia from now Berserk, BrainCell from Berserk, and Teddy from the 8th. Snow
What's
couldn't
up,
make
brother?
it. Snow couldn't make it because he is probably either getting ready to get cheeks clapped by Legion or are currently getting their cheeks clapped by Legion. So I put Snow up on the TV behind us so he could be with us in spirit. Um, but yeah, so apologies for the delay in episodes. Was it 2 weekends ago? I had family in town, so I wasn't able to do it. And then last week, I don't even know what happened last week. But I wanted to get BrainCell and Silvia on last Friday, but they get busy on Friday nights, so we
Yeah, can I
decided.
just say real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate you moving it to Wednesday. I know you guys try to do this on a Friday, but with football practice and all that shit, life shit going on, it's hard to get in here on a Friday. So I appreciate you moving it to Wednesday for us.
Yeah, of course, of course. I wanted to get you guys on, really because of the merge that has since happened. So that's why I was willing to do this. And then one other thing I have to say: hope you guys like the new setup. The air mattress and TV are gone. I came out to the loft, so yeah. Now you guys are gonna have to find something else to make fun of me for. You can't call me
The
fat.
loft.
Yeah, you guys.
He came out to the loft.
Yeah, you guys can't make fun of me for being fat anymore because you've already said that. You can't make fun of me for the air mattress, and you can't make fun of me for the TV. So you're just gonna have to find something else.
What's your AR reading score, huh?
My what?
Your AR reading score?
What the
How
fuck
many-
is it? What is that?
what
is that?
level? What age group can you read at? I'm a
I
sixth
can't-
grade.
Yeah, I can't count past like 7. So.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
why
don't
every
know what that
that's
answers.
why every episode of this podcast moving forward is going to always be episode 7.
Yes, it's never gonna move past 7, dude.
Teddy, I've been seeing a couple texts in a couple different servers. Do you actually have a chair, or are you still sitting on the stool? Cool. Good answer.
I'll just go fuck myself, I guess.
He's gonna go disconnect. Can't answer.
God, dude. You alive, Teddy?
Oh, he did.
No, you know what? Between Teddy and Snow, you know what trend we're setting is that people in the 8th have shitty connection.
Yes. It's a requirement, obviously.
I guess. Yeah, Teddy, you're breaking up really bad. I promise. It's just got to be those.
Sorry,
two.
could you say that? Is that better?
No.
Is that better?
Yes. Okay. It is for right now.
Okay. So what was the question?
Do you have an actual chair?
Let me go get it. If you want me to get it, I can get it. I'm not sitting in it right now. I'm sitting in the chair I just bought the other day. So
Yeah,
that's
Okay.
a nice.
bring
chair.
out Old
Nice
Faithful.
office chair.
Yeah, bring out Old Faithful.
Faithful. I'll be right back.
Oh shit, he's got an actual chair. That's fantastic.
Well, while we wait for him to come back, the main thing I wanted to talk to you guys about and why I decided to push it back till Wednesday is, walk me through the merge that kind of came out of seemingly nowhere. 4AD was pretty solid, running through TFL by themselves. So what led to the merge? Oh, hold on. There's the stool.
Yep, the stool is back. Silvia, if you want to go first, by all means, man.
Yeah. So let's see the merger. Kind of goes back to the discussion that we had on episode 7 with Francis. And in that episode where we had kind of talked about, we're seeing this domination of powerhouses merging with other powerhouses and like cells just eating away at the smaller guys. And so it was one of those things we understood that as strong as 4AD is, we're never going to have the full repertoire, the full we're just not going to be able to compete logistically and economically with the number of people and keeping up with these big league guys. Um, so we understood that at some point we were going to have to change our identity to reflect something that was going to be bigger and more appealing. And so we had talked about we had started working on talks of merger internally, just trying to wrap our minds around it. And it was kind of a hesitancy, but all of us agreed that if we wanted to remain competitive and remain, um, you know, in a sense of ability to compete with these bigger guys, we were going to eventually have to merge into another group, or at least some way or another form a group that was going to have more people who are bigger, better, and just be able to bring more people to a match. So
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, it was. I mean, obviously, we all know what happened in the end of July, right? With
Oh yeah, I was
their
there.
departure. Yep, Teddy was part of that. You know, some of our former leaders went to 3-5, and
That's depressing. I thought that was depressing.
that led to a mass exodus, right? A lot of guys went to the 8th. We had guys go to Merc, to HLLE, to 7th, Won't Touch Grass, Legion, whatever they are now. And when I took over that server, it was really like, hey, if we have guys that are comp ready and comp capable, and so for us, it was, hey, either we're going to recruit really hard, or we're going to find a dance partner that wants to either merge or start something new, or something to that effect. There was a long time where I thought SOB and Berserk would merge, but that never kind of materialized. And you know, Cause was, you know, second in command in Berserk, and he's good friends with Silvia and Werewolf and Goober, a couple of those guys at 4AD, and from just, you know, playing random games together. And the conversation started, and we eventually, a bunch of our leadership and a bunch of their leadership got on a call, I think on a Wednesday night, and we ended up talking for like 3 hours or some shit. And man, it was good fun, you know, and it was awesome for me because it reminded me that this can be fun.
Yeah.
And you know, the previous month and a half or so was not that fun. So,
So
and then it just kind of materialized from there.
who reached out to who first about the merge?
ooh, that's
Teddy, mute your mic, bro.
Oh, my
my
bad.
man just
Sorry.
sucking
Sorry.
it down.
Getting some
I
water,
can't remember
sorry.
who reached out first. I know that once we got into talking, we both kind of agreed that the parts that we were missing, the other one would make up. And so that was really reassuring. And then the other thing I noticed is, like Cell said, we were talking for 3 or more hours just with the same exact problems, and they kind of come from the same history as some of our guys from 4AD did when we were 11PZ. So the history of both guys kind of forming these groups and everything kind of just meshed together, and so we had a
Yeah.
really good understanding, I think, right off the bat of
So
where everybody was coming from.
We're being told in the chat that it was Cause and Werewolf initially that discussed the merge.
Okay.
So and I'm glad you're able to follow along in the chat. So obviously with 4AD being in TFL, you guys were able to field 50 on your own. How has it been now merging with another team and having to split time in games with a whole other group? Like, has there been any discourse of people who now used to be always on the roster now may not be because their spot's being taken by a Berserk member, or vice versa? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're bringing 50 and then now you're adding that 50
With another
to
50.
with another 50, right? Are there people getting kicked off, or not necessarily kicked off the roster, but now being moved to the bench back and forth in place of either a Berserk, like a original Berserk member or a original 4AD member.
To be clear, we never had a full 50, so we did bring a full 50 to the table.
Well, I'm
Like,
talking like
you know what I-
4AD bringing the
Right,
full
right.
50 now to Berserk, and obviously the Berserk members are going to want to get on that roster. So, how has it been for the 4AD guys? Where some of them now might get moved to the bench in place of the Berserk guys.
So obviously, when there is obviously a matter of numbers there, what we've kind of done is we've integrated Berserk members who are originally Berserk. We've slowly integrated some of them. Obviously, there's a lot of things that they need to catch up with, as far as like tactics with us, and not even catching up. It's more so just blending the two together, right? So without throwing, because just like any time, it's very difficult to bring two separate teams together and immediately just work out. So
Right.
we've been slowly implementing, and diversifying our roster to get a good competitive blend of both teams. Berserk brought, some good shooters, and they brought some tactics and stuff too. And we've tried to implement those, but we had a pretty solid foundation going into it. So we're doing really well to blend that. And of course, as time progresses, we're obviously going to have to move a lot more people around. And so there is going to be that competitiveness of trying to get on the comp roster, because especially going up against a bigger team or somebody who has really great shooters, we want to field the absolute best.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things, unfortunately, you just have to set your pride aside and kind of do it for the team. I'm not the best squad leader on the original 4AD, now Berserk side. So if it ever came to a point where I needed to step aside to allow somebody to take my position, I'd gladly give that up because I want to see us succeed. So I hope that the rest of my guys and all of Berserk, can come to that conclusion too. Of course, it's not as easy as that, but I hope that would be the ideal situation, is that we can always integrate some other people in at a later time. But we're doing what we can to get everybody fielded for sure.
Yeah, it's actually been really refreshing because I thought, and I'm sure Silvia could speak to this. I thought for sure we'd have guys drop out. Like, fuck this, I'm out. Right? Like, I lost my spot, I'm out of here. But for the most part, I would say we've retained about 98 to 97% of both groups. And everyone's been really welcoming. There was some questions at the beginning, right? Why was 4AD adopting the Berserk name and the lore, if you will, the Viking lore, and how we kind of organized things on the Discord side of it. But we have a lot of trainings, a lot of events, which certainly helps. Especially now that we have server browser. Berserk had their own server, 4AD had their own server, so we kind of keep one private to run a lot of those training and events. And we kind of just say, hey, whoever's come to those events, we're going to make a list and keep a record of who's coming, and those are going to be the guys that get spots. I know it's a video game and it sounds nerdy to say this, but we're treating it like any sports team would, right? You're going to have your varsity and you're going to have your starters, and then you're going to have your reserves, right? And the starters have to be the ones who get
like
the
JV.
most reps in practice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like JV, like you're used to, Teddy.
Oh, yeah.
They have JV flag
Remember
football?
JV basketball like it was yesterday.
Yeah, so we'll get back to the whole Berserk and 4AD talk, because I still have a couple of things to ask. But Teddy, I want to get you involved in the conversation. So you were originally in Berserk when the whole initial split happened?
Yeah, I was in there for a little bit. I was in there for a hot minute since who knows. But I liked it. Everything was great. And then the Merc, everybody started to leave. I was like, this is probably going to fall apart. Everything's going to disband. And I'm going to be left out again. So I just figured I'd leave and join. And then I just sat around for a week or two. And then Snow's like, hey, I saw you wanted to join the 8th. And I was like, oh boy, because me
Of
and Snow
course
had
he
actually
did.
been talking pretty. He's like, because me and Snow had been talking for a long time since he
Mhm.
actually created the eighth. But yeah, we it was a good time in there, great time.
Yeah. So, okay, so I guess that answered what my follow up question would have been. Was I originally was going to say, was there ever a thought of going back to Berserk when you saw that they in fact didn't collapse?
Yeah, I mean, I looked into it, but all the people that I initially knew that like all like everybody was going to LGN. Well, originally at the time it was seventh, um, and now in LGN. But after all the good guys left, I figured it probably would be the best. Like I know, like everyone wants to join the best, but I want to try to join like a clan that is doing okay, not doing is doing all right, but like losing a few games, winning a few games. It's just like a even amount of both. But yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't. I feel like if I left Berserk and joined seventh, I'd feel like a douchebag because that everyone, mostly everyone, doesn't like the seventh. I mean, I like the seventh, but not enough to really join them exactly.
Yeah.
But
So something that I've asked a couple times before, and for you guys in the chat, we're going to be having a surprise guest to those of you that don't know. Some of you already do know, but he actually just hit me up and said he's home. I just sent him the link to join the call, so he should be in here shortly. But something that I've asked a few times before, probably in some of the episodes that you've been in, Sylvia, is with Legion, do you think like what they have been doing um, is detrimental to the comp scene as a whole? Like, I mean, I wouldn't even really say arguably. I mean, I guess you could just to keep it, open, but arguably they're the best team in the U.S. and it's seemingly impossible to beat a team like Legion. So when you form a super team and there's really no true competition that can make a game competitive, do you think that's detrimental to the comp scene as a whole? Like, instead of spreading out the best of the best amongst, let's just say 10 different teams to where now you have 10 super competitive teams with, like, across the board. Now you have one, like, on like S tier, and then the rest are like on B tier. Because it seems like teams like the eighth, 3-5, now with Berserk and 4AD getting together, teams like that are all super competitive amongst themselves, like on that level. But then it seems like there's a huge gap, and then there's Legion. So like, do you think it would have been better for the comp scene if they would have just not been a thing and just spread out all that talent across the leagues,
mm,
or what? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like let's see. If LGN wasn't a thing, I think it would give the smaller clans a chance versus these other clans like Merc, HLE, like the EU and AU, Aussie clans. Like the sixth. The sixth is probably one of the top in the Aussie. We beat them. My first game in the eighth, we beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Props, but that's when they lost 50, not like 50% of their comp team to the sixth because everybody wants to join the best, obvious, like how I've been talking about it. But if
There he
LGN
is.
or like the top clans, oh, who is it?
What's going on?
What's up? What's up, buddy? I'll just Teddy. Don't forget what you were saying. But
Mm,
just to fill you in on the question that I just asked, and then we'll jump into you specifically. Um, the question I just asked was how Legion formed and pretty much has the best of the best players across the U.S. do you think that is detrimental to the comp scene as a whole? Because like what I was saying was you have teams like the 8th, 3-5, now Berserk merging with 4AD. It's like teams on that level are super competitive amongst one another at
Mhm.
that level, and then there's a gap, and then there's Legion sitting at the top. So would it have been better for a team like Legion to, like, I guess, quote unquote, not exist, and those best of the best players be spread out evenly amongst all of those teams? Or do you think it's fine, like, just how it is now, where Legion's essentially beating the dog shit out of everyone they play, really not all that competitive, and then everyone else is just ultra competitive amongst one another?
That's for me, right?
Honestly, oh,
Yeah, it's kind of
Right
up
on.
for up for
Oh,
everybody.
Okay.
But I mean,
You just joined, man. Have at it, Whoof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since you just joined, you can
Daddy
kind of take
Wolf.
the lead on that.
What?
All right. How they formed? Essentially, I mean, this is the full. I was in Ireland. I was on a family vacation,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I guess Cree got drunk one night and just nuked the server for the 7th.
Yeah.
So that it's more or less, it's not majority old 7th guys. At least not by my standards, because it's been like 2+ years that I've been in that clan. But it's the same foundation at least. And then at the end of last season, the 7th, we got a ton of new players, and so Legion's kind of that combination, and we've still been recruiting. But in terms of dominating the comp scene and being above the rest, being it good for the league or bad for the league, it's not much different. It's actually not nearly as bad as what the 7th was for the comp scene. I mean, we used to win games in 13 minutes, like to the point where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to play comp. This is a waste of time. I'd cut out a Saturday at 3 o'clock, right? And I'd get on and I'd be like, all right, going to be a good game, WRTV, big name, burn for an hour and a half, and then like 17-minute game.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't shoot, right? I didn't shoot my gun. I was on defense. I didn't see anybody. We just murdered them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really, really, really simple game, right? People have this idea that pub and comp is different. It's the same game. The game is still, maybe the players are different, but this game is still won and lost the same way. To be honest, I don't think we're like that crazy good. I think a lot of other teams lack in the kind of basic functions, the logistical work, and things as simple as supplies. So I think honestly it's still a good thing for the league, because people kind of got their way up to the 7th. Now they might have to do that same thing with Legion. They have to build their way up, but that's at least my experience in the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. But like, I guess going back to, like, have you noticed that still being with Legion? I mean, I know that since you guys are so new, you haven't been able to play in any of the leagues yet, and I can't speak on why you guys weren't allowed in TFL, because I'm not one of the heads there. But hopefully you guys are in for season 2. I know that is a pretty set in stone stance that at least the 8th is taking, that I don't think we're going to participate in TFL if you guys aren't allowed in. But that's ultimately Snow's call. But have you noticed, at least in the scrims that you guys have been playing, like you guys are playing the 8th right now or have already beaten them by this point, but at least in the scrims, like, have you seen any of the dominating gameplay or the gameplay that is carried from the 7th now over to Legion? Because essentially it's a lot of the same players, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then you guys have added a few new faces from some of the other teams.
Yeah. I mean, again, that core is still there. A lot of the people in like leadership positions and stuff. There are plenty of new people too, but there's definitely some carryover. I will say, and it's not just myself. Something that that 7th did incredibly well. I didn't always command games, so I wasn't always a squad lead. My first game, Zyklon was squad lead for the 7th, and Backpack and I were his 2 squaddies, right? So I tell people that all the time. Like that's what made the 7th so good, is that 50% of the level 500s were like support guys, right? We would just run around and be like, yeah, there should be a Gary there. I'll just go run a box over there, right? So a lot of that is still there, which anyone that plays with me knows that kills don't fucking matter. Oh, can I swear? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Kills don't fucking matter, right? 1 out of every 20 kills probably matters. The rest is just people imagining they're playing an FPS. It's all about the logistics, and like supplies are the most powerful thing in the game. That 50 box or 100 drop, that's the most powerful thing in the game. It's more powerful than artillery. So that stuff is carried over. A lot of our like good logistics players are still here. I think logistics players last longer. It's more fun than just shooting people. After shooting people for 50 minutes, I'm like, I'm bored. Yeah. Right. So I think we still have a lot of that. I think we could use more of that. Like, I don't know. We have a lot of players that the way I look at the game is every single time that you die, no matter what position, commander, squad lead, squaddie, recon, every single time you die, you should look at that map while you're waiting to spawn in and be like, what do we need right now? Right? An MG in this field, a box over here, whatever it is. I'll spawn back at Artie if I see a hot outpost, right? Just for like 2 seconds. Just at every single life, there's got to be something going on. And we have a lot of those players. We don't have enough. But we did carry over a good core, and I guess once we do get into some leagues and whatnot, that'll be kind of the next like growing stage for us, at least, is getting 50 guys. I mean, you'll never get 50 that do it, but can we get 35? Yeah. Right. That play every role when it's needed.
To clarify, 7th wasn't in TFL because Francis didn't respond in time. And so the season had started before they were able to join. Okay. They joined shortly after. I believe the season kicked off, I think August 18th, if I remember correctly, and Francis joined on the 23rd. So they just missed it by a couple days. It wasn't because we had anything against them or anything like that. And I know that because I had to go back and check the history this past weekend. Because one of the teams wanted to use Endarkenment as a fill-in, and we had a little bit of a combat there.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to go back and look and make a ruling on that in the TFL, and that's how I know that they joined on the 23rd. TFL kicked off on the 4th. Shout out to Cause with that info. But to get back to the original point, I don't know that it's necessarily bad for the community or good for the community. I think it's it sets a benchmark, right? It sets the bar. I think we can all recognize, the kind of dominance that 7th have or has had historically, and as much as shit that they get in the community for being good, I like to think of it as like the New England Patriots, bro. Like, you hate them because they're fucking dominant, right? Like, don't hate on them for that reason. Hate on them because they keep kicking your ass and try to be better. That's all there is to it. What I hate to see in the community is when you have these bigger teams, the HLLEs, the Mercs, that keep absorbing these smaller clans that fold. Because then eventually what's going to happen is you're going to end up with 2 or 3 just mega powerhouse teams that just dominate, and everything else is just going to kind of collapse, and then your smaller teams are going to fold in to those bigger teams. That's bad for the community. I've been saying that since June or July, I think. When we've had those kind of conversations, talking about poaching and whatnot in the TFL chats, I think but I can't say that a team like Legion. Sorry, where Wolf for saying 7th. I can't say a team like Legion is bad for the community. I think it's the opposite, man. It gives everyone a benchmark to shoot for. Um, and that's when we joined when I took over Berserk, and then when we joined with 4AD, my resolve has always been the same: beat 3-5, and let's kick ass at 7th. Let's get 7th. Let's get to that level, and there's no reason why we can't. At
Yeah.
least shoot for that.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy that Snow has been scheduling games against Legion because playing against the best is like you were saying. You always want to raise the bar and try to emulate. Like, think of it like back when you were a kid watching your favorite sports player and you start like emulating your play style after them. Like, scheduling games against arguably the best there is within the U.S. Definitely shows you like Legion, HLLE, and teams like that in the six. They're very good at showing you very quickly where you're lacking as a team. Like if you have one weak spot in your armor, they will find it immediately, and being able to if you're clipping that game or you just think back in that game, it'll show you where you need to improve on as a team. If you were to schedule a game against somebody below your level, then they might not find that hole, and you might think that you're okay when you're actually not. So I definitely think that's something I'm glad to see Legion doing, is scheduling all these games playing against other teams, because I think it's helping a lot more than it's hurting.
And HLE and Merc still suck. So I don't know what they're doing. I think they finished in 4th and 5th place.
Yeah, dude,
the poaching isn't working.
Shoot that shit, dude.
Well, what's funny? You say that, and I think really, I kind of agree with you, but I think their main advantage is that they strong arm everyone to play on their shitty fucking servers, right? Like, and we have to play on shitty fucking weekends. Every former Berserk guy remembers the Thanksgiving fiasco from last year. If Cause is listening, have some cake. But they made us play on the Saturday after Thanksgiving because fuck your holiday and fuck travel. Well, they don't understand that travel for us Americans it's not like 4 hours and you're across the entire country. Exactly. It takes fucking 6 days to get across our country, bitch.
2 years ago, they tried. I think it was 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever it was. Another time we beat them in the finals. Doesn't matter. They wanted to schedule on July 4th, and we were like, no, absolutely not. Right?
I would have said yes to that so fucking
like,
quick.
And then just show up
for just the sake of it. And throw tea out the window.
And then they're like, oh, that doesn't work. What about July 5th? We're like, fuck no, get the hell out of here. Like.
Yeah, just like,
so
dude, we'll play you on America's fucking birthday and just not show up. Like, get them all ready, get them all in a lobby, and just fucking completely ghost them. Fuck. So, would you say that for, like, in regards to Legion, who would you say is probably your biggest competition right now? I kind of have an idea in my head, but I'd want to hear it from you.
Well, it's Berserk.
I mean, it's a good. Sorry.
It's Berserk.
It's definitely Berserk. Yeah.
I mean, it was looking that way for a little bit. Like I don't know, a year ago. We played you guys on Foy, and we hadn't lost a defensive point in like, I don't know, 80 games, like 2 years, right? You guys took mid after we took it, and that was like, holy shit, this never happened before. I mean, I guess it's got to be the 6th, just because we lost in Summit to them. We made a lot of stupid mistakes. It wasn't how I think a lot of us wanted to play. But I don't know. HLE just, their game plan just sucks. To be completely honest, they don't send enough people at mid. They get too spread out, too flanked out, and they send like all this manpower to Artie and to all these other places, and it's like, all right, we'll just walk in the front door, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll spread out and I'll camp on the house in Foy and kill 28 guys off the garrison or whatever I did. Um,
Yeah,
that was against HLE.
and that's actually interesting that you brought that up about like pushing right through the front door. Eighth scrimmed 3-5 on Foy. Fuck, what was it like 2 weeks ago, maybe, or a week ago, and our midpoint was South Bend, and we have
It was
the
Southern Edge. Southern Edge.
Southern Edge. Sorry. So we have the fields to the east and west cover, and it was pretty easy because Southern Edge, it's open fields, on the east and west side, and then we start to lose the point. We're like, where the fuck are they coming from? They were pushing right through the front door, like you were saying. They were coming right down the fucking road. And we're like, whoa, 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 what? Like, I mean, they capped mid back from us because of that, and it was pretty embarrassing because we're like, shit, dude, they came like right down the fucking road. Like, we were not expecting that at all, but we were able to cap it back.
I've been noticing that a lot too recently, and like, not just Berserk games, but like you see comments in like some of the other threads of the post games when guys are like, good game, and it seems like a lot of teams are so focused on protecting those flanks that they forget that the front door is, and teams are just kicking it right the fuck in and just walking right in, and it's like, wow, it's a nice reminder that you can't get all spread out, man. You gotta protect what's the most important, and if your front door is wide open, what good is it protecting the back door? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you always got to protect the back door.
Fuck no, you don't.
We played the 11th. This was a long time ago. This is like when comp started. We played the 11th, I think, before the TPL even existed, and we had that same midpoint. And I was on defense, and they had a Gary at dugout barn, and probably one at West Bend, like in those woods over there. And someone was like, "Oh, should we go take it out?" I was like, "No, don't go over there. There's 4 grid squares that matter, right? The other 8 in that middle sector or whatever you want to call it, they don't matter, right? If people want to be over there, it's dead cap weight for them on their defensive point, and on ours. So that's a big thing. Is like don't. Map control is like the most overrated term in this game. Sector control is a much better way to phrase it. Like, obviously there's strong points to hold throughout the map that might be a little out of the sector, but don't go to dugout barn. There's no use, right?
Yeah. So something that I learned recently, this is kind of changing the subject a little bit. Maybe you guys have heard of this, maybe you haven't, but something that I learned recently was the 8th got a couple new players that joined. Some from WRTB. I think some came from 9PZ, but then we had I think he was like a level 80 or level 70 join, and we asked typically like, hey, like, are you coming from like another group or whatever? And he said he was coming from, well, we noticed he had Merc in his clan tag, and we're like, are you coming from Merc? And he's like, yeah, but I'm coming from PC comp. And we're like, well, this is the first PC player that we've seen like in forever. And so I got to talking to him, the DM. So I was like, hey, what brought you over from PC? And from what he was telling me was that Hell Let Loose on the PC side is dying. And it's mainly, I would imagine it's mainly because on PC there's a lot more competition to the game because you have games like Squad 44 and Arma and stuff like that. But he was saying that a lot of people on PC that are loyal to the game are starting to transition over to console. So if that is the case and they start spreading players out, I definitely think it'd be interesting to see what kind of strats that they're bringing and if any of those PC strats get implemented. Because it almost seems like sometimes I've noticed console clans adopt some of the things that PC has been doing first. So
like rocket slapping.
Yeah, because they've had the ability to use admin cam for so long, so it's easier for them to launch a rocket up and then watch where it's landing on admin cam and get the angles down just right. So I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what these PC comp players are bringing to console if more of them join.
It's funny that you say that because before we merged with 4AD, I actually tried to recruit a girl off of Facebook. She made a post in the console community So I reached out to her. Turns out she was a PC player and was mixed up in the Facebook console community. But we got on a call on Discord and we were talking about that very thing, how a lot of PC players are making the transition to console. And she said exactly what I touched on earlier, where a lot of the bigger clans are absorbing up all of the players, and it's crushing the community, right? And it's there are other games for them to play, but it's a lot of that amoeba kind of thing where they just keep absorbing and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger,
Yeah.
and you only have 3, 4, 5 clans at the very top, and then it's everyone else that aren't even close to being competitive.
Another thing that he said, and I never noticed it because I've only ever been on console, was he said that one of his first impressions, both playing with console players, and I think the only other server he's in is TPL, is he said the console players seem much more excited about the game than PC players do.
Imagine how terrible, like truly terrible, this game is at a high level on PC.
Yeah.
I love this game, right? It's the game I play the most, but like they bump around the idea. One they've eliminated half the game, right? I don't care if the Panther has a faster reload speed like it used to, if it's whatever, you think Germans get too, like just play the game, right? That's always my stance. Unkillable Artie, I don't know if you guys, I forget the name of the Discord. I think it's basically the equivalent of like how we used to have Hilo or Hello, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They have like 700 kills on Artie. Like that's way worse than 3 guns, right? At least go fight them. It's a broken aspect of the game, I get it, but like, so you're just gonna sit there and eat Artie? They bounce around the idea of only having 1 MG per team because it's that good on PC. This game must be terrible. I agree that there's a lot of other good PC games, more than on console, that are gonna pull people away, but the game must suck on console or on PC. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've thought about that a lot because I've thought about buying it, and then I'm like, I get shot in the head enough. Like, I don't need any more of that.
Yeah, and I think, so you might know this. Is there going to be a vote for TFL next season about the whole unkillable Artie?
It's been floated. It was discussed at the beginning, and it was met with a lot of, I would say, mostly resistance. There was, maybe a couple guys that were for it. I would imagine it's going to come up again. I'm only answering this because I'm an admin there, so I see a lot of the background stuff. I'd imagine it's going to come up again. There's still a lot of things in TFL that we need to work through, right? It's a brand new league. There's a lot of kinks that we need to work through. A lot of rules that you don't really think of until they pop up, kind of like this last weekend with whether Endarkenment was, a viable fill-in player or not, and, not having an actual rule in place for that. What are you going to do? So I would make a bet that it comes up to a vote, and if I were a betting man, I would say it gets voted down just based off the reaction that we saw in the preseason.
Yeah.
Well, and it comes back to one of those things where, like I think Francis discussed it. We talked about it on last. I don't know if this was a couple episodes. It was either episode 7 or episode 7, and we had talked about the exploits that just keep coming up, and it's partially because like PC players find it, and then it gets used here on console or vice versa, and it's one of those things. How many exploits can we combat until it's like just play the fucking game, or how many exploits, like where do you draw the line? Because at one point they talked about the Panther ban because it reloads too fast, and then it was, I mean, are they gonna ban the Sherman because it's faster? It's like you can only bring a jumbo because it's slower than the regular Sherman. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things like, or how many repair stations are they going to allow on the field at one point, or are they allowing rocket snipes and arty snipes? It's just so difficult to monitor all that stuff. I wonder how long it takes for all of these things to be a super commonplace, and then that'll, I think, depend on the rule set. So
Yeah. Teddy, what do you think about the whole unkillable Artie?
Honestly, I feel like it should be down to one gun. It
If we
could be
were to do
unkillable
it,
already just for one gun. If we were to do it, I feel like it would be. I feel like one gun would be the play because I know I've seen. I watch a lot of videos on PC. I try to mention it, but like no one really takes it for granted. So I'm like, well, better just move on. But I feel like just one gun's all you need because already is like one of the most powerful things in the game. But yeah, that's all I got for that section.
yeah.
thanks, Teddy.
Yeah, I don't
Welcome,
like the
welcome, brother.
idea.
Anytime.
I don't like the idea of the unkillable Artie. I mean, I guess the only upside to it, if teams dedicate a recon squad solely to shutting down Artie instead of bouncing, back and forth, is maybe it frees up an extra sniper or an extra spotter. Um, but I mean, even now, sometimes with the strats that I've seen teams, or maybe not even a strat, but just the things that I've seen teams do to keep Artie alive is almost making it unkillable already. Like, I've seen teams fucking stack transport trucks, medium tanks, light tanks on top of one another just to keep their Artie alive. So it's almost unkillable already. Um, but I don't know. I don't like that fact. I haven't liked Artie ever since I died 61 times to it against Merc in season 2.
That middle finger is for Bear Jew, just so you know. It's not towards anyone else. Fuck
Yeah.
Ohio State. Anyway, I actually, dude, call me crazy, but I'm sadistic and I like the Artie meta loop. In Berserk, I've always played the recon spotter that goes back to Artie and fucks with them. And to me, dude, when you're done with the game and you get done with that match, there's nothing better than looking at that scoreboard and know that you shat on 2 or 3 people all fucking game. Like, you absolutely ruined those 2 dudes' nights, and there's nothing better to know that, like, somebody's girlfriend got beat that night because I put up, 48 kills on 2 dudes, right? Like,
So I've had my fair share of crazy arty games, and I'll tell you probably the greatest way of all time to troll using artillery. You look at the map, you know where someone's outpost is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't look at recon planes. You can be a rifleman on arty and do this. You don't need any intel. Just look at the map and be like, someone's outpost is going to be right there, right? Shoot 3 rounds, open up your scoreboard. If you get kills, obviously that matters, but it's when you don't get kills. If you get consecutive shots hit, you see it keep ticking up, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get a kill, keep shooting. It's hitting someone's outpost. You're getting a shot hit because it's hitting something on the map. So you can like outpost snipe using arty. Oh my god, the amount of level 18 players I've killed 12 times and then watch them leave the scoreboard and go find another. It's ridiculous.
When you're
Just having map knowledge.
Yeah. When you're mentioning firing off rounds and then opening up your scoreboard and watching it happen, I didn't do it for this episode because this was kind of an impromptu thing and I don't want it to go too long. But on the Friday night episodes, I'll implement the highlights and bloopers. I got a highlight from Dirty Grunt, and it was the most disrespectful bullshit I've ever seen. He literally pulls out his Panzerstreck, aims it up in the sky, shoots a rocket, and then immediately opens his scoreboard. And I'm like, you're a piece of shit. And then 6 kills appear. I'm like, dude, fuck you. I mean, it wasn't against us, but...
You know what make you feel better, though? Was on Purple Heart Lane in the finals. One of the other times we beat them, when we sniped their commander out of the truck at the game start. As soon as the wall went down. They still don't know how that one happened.
Well, when we played Legion on, was it Utah Beach a couple weeks ago? We were driving our 2 fully fucking kitted out, or like 2 full transport trucks driving it to mid. Both of us get hit with RD. I'm like, well, there goes mid.
Yeah.
I mean, that was on us, though. We knew, especially going against Legion, that if we wanted to have a chance, we needed to fight over mid. We can't get put on the back foot. So we took the quickest route there, which is normally the quickest route there is the most obvious for teams like Legion or, like halfway decent arty guys to know where to have to shoot. And just timing it perfectly. I mean, the shell dropped right on top of the truck. It was miserable. I didn't even get an OP down. I'm like, well, guys, we're spawning back at HQ, I guess.
Yeah.
So a couple questions in the chat. Someone wants to know if Silvia is Mexican or Filipino.
I love how... No, hold on. Before you answer that, I love how they don't say anything about Japanese, even though you're flying a Japanese flag behind you.
In the background, right?
I mean, the problem is I have cultural stuff from like all over. So like, I don't have just the cowboy hat, but like I have. Hold on, we'll just do a little bit of a tour because I think we went over it on episode 7. But let me see. So, and here I do have hair. Somebody said, "Let's see what's underneath the hat." I have hair. But we have the East German, snow winter cap here.
It's nice.
We've got the Vietnam tiger stripe, Let's see.
Do you wear these while playing?
Oh, I mean, sometimes, yeah. Yeah, why not? Yeah. I've got the Afghan sheep herders. That's a.
Oh no, that's that pager special.
Yeah. Then we got the
pager special.
The German. Then we got the German. And then we got the level 3 ballistics. And these are all just the ones that I have accessible in arm's reach. I still have a motorcycle helmet.
I told Silvia I told him he needs to find a way to wire that helmet so he can wear it while playing Hell Let Loose and use the comms.
I gotta figure that out. I do need to figure that out.
Another question is, Teddy, why is your ceiling fan powering your webcam? Which I thought that was a great question. That was the best question in the chat.
I love that. That's fucking great.
So
to answer the question, I'm the same race as Khan from fucking oh fuck, what's his name? Hank Hill, or King of the Hill. So look that up. Look that up. I'm the same nationality as his boy. So
some other questions that just came in. Wow, cool hats, but we need the furry to explain what the hell is going on. Teddy, I'm gonna just assume that might be towards you.
Well, someone did ask earlier, and I shouldn't have repeated it. I shouldn't repeat it, but they asked if he chose the light color to match his dildo.
Yeah, Alex just said is Teddy in his sister's room.
Okay.
No, so the question in the chat. This is the jersey. So you can get this from Commando Store, and it's their throwback to the rivalry of Soviet Russia versus USA. So that's the hockey jersey they got.
That ended just like the 7th HLE game, huh?
Dude, alright, so I just saw in documents in the chat, so this is typically when the fucking degeneracy starts coming out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that Pookie?
Yeah, he said...
How do you see this chat?
Whoof's so sexy. Where's my air mattress? You guys were talking shit on it for so long, I had to retire the air mattress. It was already on its last legs, because, as you guys have already made it very clear, that is the bed that I get pegged on. So the bed is now in its final resting place, never to be used again. You know what? Hold on. I love how... love how you guys are like saying all this shit, but there has been a comment made about the fact I have feet on the TV behind me. Like nothing has been said
It's hard
about
to
that.
see.
Oh, okay.
It's
But
hard
yeah,
to see.
that's feet. Like you can see there's. Well, fuck, I can't
What?
really zoom in.
What kind of cushion are you sitting on? Is it like a nice ice cushion for post pegging?
Yeah, yeah. I
It's the pregnant woman pillow.
so it's a
The
mix of
donut.
like it's like a mix of pregnant women pillows and then like old icy hots that I've just been collecting over the years.
Nice.
It's
Teddy.
used icy hot patches.
Yes, yes.
Teddy, who is your waifu pillow? Because I feel like you have one.
I don't even own one.
Oh, that's.
I don't even know. I'm being serious. I don't even own one.
Is it hard to
dude.
find
You
stuff
have
in
the
your sister's
swag.
room?
I thought you had one.
So Teddy, don't feel bad, dude. I've been doing this, all 7 episodes, and the chat is just gonna make up shit about you, and then they're just gonna run with it. It doesn't matter if you say you don't have one; they're not gonna believe it. So you're just gonna have to accept
I know.
it.
It's
Dude.
it has a guess. Yes.
That's
Big,
what
tall
happens.
One. A great big tall one.
The hemorrhoid throne.
Are
Is
there
what
any
I'm
other
sitting on.
questions? Because I can't read the chat. So
Teddy. Well, not really questions. Teddy is a furry in disguise. Dunny.
What?
Dunny said, "Can Woof teach Snow how to command properly?"
Honestly, 15 seconds. All of your abilities are useless. Every single one of them. Artie's better than bombing runs. Never strafe a garrison. Use your supply drop every single 2 minutes. It's the most powerful thing on the map. The only commander abilities that matter are supply drop. Reinforce is useless. You're probably already fucking lost the point. Maybe it's useful once every 5 games, but tank spawns, right? That's it. Don't use anything if you don't have to. Bank all of your resources.
Yeah.
That's how Snow can win a game.
Um,
I'll take
Woof.
note on that.
Woof, why aren't you
Yeah.
a TPL mod yet?
I mean, there is the whole
Free
issue
Wolf.
with them being fascist.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
No!
they just won't let me in there. They called me gay, kicked me out. It was the whole thing, and I've been trying to get back in ever since.
So-
You guys see, I'm a regular nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, I
believe
don't
it.
feel like.
But
I don't think it was the gay part that got you kicked out.
I don't know. That's what Herc said.
So for the ones that don't know, what happened that led you to getting kicked out of TPL?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you know the 21st,
Yes, yeah.
a bunch of LARPers, right?
Yeah.
We did get Barkin and Darkenman from them, so they're not all bad, as I've learned. But Old Spice, who's now losing in HLE, he was LARPing with his 21st friends, and this is just in a pub lobby. I don't even know. This was so long ago. And we were just getting our ass kicked, right, in this game. And I look at the map, and there's like 8 dudes. Not in our HQ, but like a grid and a half away. And we're on like the 4th point on defense. And I'm like, what the hell? And I go down there with a rocket, obviously. And I'm like, yo, get in the fucking game. We're getting our ass kicked, right? So I just blow them up. They shoot me back. I die. I go back with an MG. I mow them all down. I get kicked out of the lobby. Then went on TPL and Discord. And basically, I used the word fudge packer. I think that was the icing.
I haven't heard that
poop.
one in a long. You got to be an old soul to use that term, bro. Like you got to been around.
That was the poop icing on the edge of on the rim of the butt cake that got me kicked out. It was essentially just making fun of those two, or Old Spice in the 21st, and being like, they blew up a perfectly good lobby. And sorry, that's not what kicked me out. It happened a second time. I think it was 83rd A3AR. There was a full lobby of them and like 40 21st guys. So I was already in a bad place with the 21st and the TPL.
Bless you.
And
Thank you.
I joined their game and I was like, fuck, I hate the 21st, right? But like, this is a stacked lobby. I'm staying, as long as they don't boot me. It probably was before they could boot you back then.
Hmm.
And it was a good competitive game for like 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden we get our ass kicked. And I look at the HQ and there's like 30 of them in the HQ. And I freaked out and
Yeah.
was like, the fuck is the matter with all you guys? You're wasting people's night, right? You're literally you wasted my time. You wasted 50 people on 83 AR's time because they thought it was a good match. So it was just nothing more than that. And then obviously played it up a little bit. Herc went all fascist on me. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fall of the 21st needs to be studied. Going from Summit 1 undefeated to now, like, I don't even know what to say they're at now. But I guess one last thing before I let you guys go, because we've now just hit the hour mark. What for the guys, like for you, Silvia and Cell, how's it been? At least
You can call me wasted, bro.
Okay, so going from the collapse of Berserk and not being able to field 50, how's it been being able to jump right into the thick of a season that's already, now on its tail end, but being able to jump right into the competition?
It's like popping a bottle of Viagra's, bro. It was seriously, it was right before we officially merged. We played a mixed lobby. We called it the Catalina Wine Mixer, where we had 480 and Berserk guys on one side, 480 and Berserk guys on the other side. And it was a fun, sweaty lobby. It was a blast. It had been something that a lot of Berserk guys had been waiting for, had been looking forward to. We had tried to scrim other teams, and we just couldn't get the numbers. We had, I would say, probably about 120 when we actually merged. But you guys know how that goes. It's probably 30 to 40, like ultra active, and then 10 to 15 that are here every once in a great while. So we could just never get the numbers, and then hopping in and then doing a scrim, and I think a couple of us played in their comp match in TFL, and then we've kind of just been integrating more Berserk guys in as we get more accustomed and gel together. But it's been awesome, man. It's been great. Our guys were, and that's ultimately the reason why I was always looking for a dance partner, is because I knew the good guys that we had. They wanted to play comp, right? And if we couldn't get that team, and recruiting is fucking hard, man, and there's so many teams diving into that same pool, it's almost like when someone puts a message out on Facebook looking to join a comp, bro, it's disgusting how bloated that message board gets with, hey, join us, join us, join us. It's like, holy fuck, man. And it got to the point where it's like, we can't, and we can compete with that, right? Because our name has some legacy to it. But how long do we want to do that? And how long are our good guys going to stick around until we can get that 50, right? So it's been awesome for us, man. And we're real glad. 480 has been great. I think I speak for all of us on both sides that it's been a great merge. It's taken some time. I think I've maybe played 2 or 3 games of Hell Let Loose since we merged, because I've just been doing a lot of calls and trying to get the Discord set up and the admin of the servers and all that shit together. But the guys who are actually on the grinding and playing, I think it's been really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a couple questions that just popped in the chat for you, Whoof.
Nice.
A lot of people. There's been a couple people spam that you were actually a part of 7th Cav, and when are you going to command another game for them?
7th Cav was so fucking bad. That was the first game. I think I was defensive lead or just squad lead. I don't know, but I was on defense. I didn't shoot around. I spotted one tank. It was in Purple Heart Lane, It was actually a very memorable game because I didn't think it could possibly happen. I did not see a single chevron all game on our defensive point. So
Um,
they're gonna need to ditch the LARPing thing. I can't stand the LARPing thing. I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys LARP. I get it. Like I have a monitor. I don't play with the crosshair because it kills my immersion. So
mhm.
but I have my sound effects at 100, obviously. But I don't know. The whole like, the fuck do you want to call someone sir for? Like we just got off work, right?
Yeah.
Last thing I want to do is like have to report to somebody again, or I don't know, something like that. So
Yeah,
there.
it doesn't really add to the comp side. Like, there's no benefit to it.
The 21st was the, I guess, exception because they had a summit that was probably pretty weak, that league, but they actually won something. All those other teams suck. They're terrible.
I mean, at least so. Obviously, I was part of the 21st for about 2 years.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was glad to get out of it. And you know what's weird? So actually, speaking on that, I thought leaving the 21st would have been harder than what it was, just because I was there for 2 years, and I was there for some really good moments, like winning Summit, and I was there with Barkin and Darkman, so it wasn't like the team was just full of like all shitters. But I mean, at least in Summit 1, like there were good teams in there. I guess like at the time, like ROFS was in there, Merc was in there, and we were able to beat them. But yeah, I mean the thing with the 21st, I definitely thought it would have been harder to leave than it was. But like I typed out this whole message that I was leaving, sent it, and then I got a reply saying, "Cool, are you gonna be there for the game Saturday?" I'm like, I literally just said I was fucking leaving, and now you're asking me if I'm showing up on Saturday. Like,
But you can still come into work, right?
yeah, like, hey, sorry, I quit. So you're gonna be able to pick up the shift on Saturday, right? No, like, no, fuck you. So I think the response that I got from the 21st when I said I was leaving definitely said everything that I needed to hear. At least it made my transition out so much easier than what it was. And I have nothing but respect for Malarkey and the guys of the Six for taking us in, even though we weren't there for that long. They were nothing but nice to us when we were there and when we eventually ended up leaving to go join the 8th. But it all worked out, and I'm definitely excited. I think the 8th is progressively getting better. Playing Legion has definitely helped us a lot. I'm assuming Legion won. I saw people saying GG's in this chat earlier. So, I mean, the friendly competition is great. I think, for the most part, at least the American teams all respect one another. It just seems like the discourse is between the US and the EU teams because they try to pipe us down with fucking match times and servers and shit. Like, playing on Asia East is like the gayest thing I've ever heard.
Well, imagine too, I don't hear Berserk or the 8th or any other US clans talking shit, right? Mark finished in 5th, HLE finished in 4th. Imagine, like, you know who HLE is? They're the Bills of the late 80s. Like, they suck, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations, you made it to 4 Super Bowls or whatever. You lost them all. They talk shit. It astounds me all the time. I know it's just a video game. It's all our favorite video game. We're on a podcast for it. Obviously, we're into it. But imagine spending like 2,000 hours to play a game. Suck. You still lose. And then going on Discord, spending more time and talking shit. Like that's the problem with Mark and HLE. They can't get out of that realm of like, you guys just suck, right? There's a couple of them that are totally normal, okay guys, but it's just when you go in those chats, those TPL chats, I mean, you'll want to kick yourself out, right?
Well, bro, you can't be happy if you're eating beans on toast every goddamn day, bro.
Yeah,
That's a miserable fucking life.
I don't get it.
In it.
Yeah, fucking in it, bruv. Like,
In it, bruv.
and I mean, like that was another thing about like the 21st was like with the 21st, it was majority a U.S. team, but they're like holding the hand of a minority EU group. That's why like we used to have a guy in. So like the guys that all left from the 21st at once, like me, Twiggy, Cloth, and a couple others, we all jumped in a DM group together, and we had another guy in there with us that originally left and then ended up going back to the 21st, and he was talking about like the 21st wanted to scrim the 8th, so like okay, cool, we'll do it, but they're dead set on playing at like 6 p.m. Eastern. And like that doesn't really work for a lot of people. Like I know for a fact it doesn't work for me because I have to be with my son until I put him to bed at 9. And the only reason why they're pushing it is because you have 5 people that are EU that are like, no, we're not playing unless we play at 6 o'clock. And like I get it. I get that it could be hard for them because like before server browser was a thing, if you have a game at 9 and you burn for an hour and a half, they're up until 2 a.m. and then the game finally starts. Like, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but join a fucking EU team. Like, just make your own life easier. It's just like how hard it is, and I don't know how Backpack does it, but good on him for being able to stick it out with the 6th. But I thought it was going to work when I originally went to the 6th because their comp times are at 9 o'clock. But, like, Malarkey made it very clear that if you wanted to play on the comp roster, you have to outperform the people on the team. It's hard to do that when their prime time is 4 o'clock in the morning for us. So it's like we weren't even put on the bench because we weren't able to prove anything. So it's like you don't see American players going to an Australian team and then bitching at them because they're playing too early. Like I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't think Backpack sleeps 8 hours every night. I think he sleeps like 3-hour shifts from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Standing up.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is thinking back on it, like between me and I mentioned this to Backpack when he was on one of the earlier episodes with Malarkey, and then you, Whoof. You may remember, you may not, when the first Shit Talk server was a thing. Us 3 would go at it for fucking hours, dude. Like I never thought that a moment like this would come, but it's definitely cool to know that like that was just shit talk. It wasn't like anything personal, and I think that's the great thing between a lot of the American teams is that we all have good camaraderie with one another, even though like we can hop in the shit talk server and like call me fat and call Snow gay and fucking Mayor a pedophile, like, but, like it's shit like that brings another aspect to the game that keeps bringing me back to it, and brings like a little bit of like a reason to want to beat some of these other teams. Is just so you can hop in and talk friendly banter to one another.
We're just hanging out with the boys,
Yeah. At the end of the
That's
day,
all it
that's what it is. It's just an escape from the real world type shit. Just reading what someone said in the chat. I got a guy kicked out of the 6th because he stole my Panther and was talking shit. But Malarkey had already known me for a while, so he said, fuck that guy. And Backpack told me he got kicked because of it. What
cool
is my
story.
What is my screensaver? My screensaver is Snow, because he couldn't be here. He was getting dicked down by Legion.
Teddy, a lot of people in the chat want to know if you're okay, bro.
I'm fine. I'm just chilling.
You've been pretty quiet. I've never heard you this quiet. Nobody's ever heard you this quiet.
Did you do one of the science experiments with the potato where you generated electricity for your can?
No.
Yeah, so I said it earlier.
It's just my phone.
I said it earlier before you joined, but between Teddy and Snow, they're setting a bad rap for the 8th because now everyone's going to think we have shitty connection.
Yeah, you guys all use Cricket Wireless for your Wi-Fi. I saw that
You wanna
mentioned.
know why?
Freaking wireless.
Okay. I think it's because we all live in well, actually, I shouldn't say where we live, but I think it's because of Frontier. Frontier, that's mine. It's not that. It's mid.
No, a lot
It's
of
kind of
us,
mid.
a lot of us live in North
I tried.
Carolina. I'll fucking say it.
Yeah, yeah. I too. Uh, just the Frontier. Like if I tried streaming a match. No, my game died in the first 5 minutes. It did not work. It's not great, but it can power a comp game. I don't know how, but
Yeah.
that's
Someone said in the chat, you guys have a podcast, and I've never heard of any of you. Well, you're here, so obviously you have heard of us. So fuck
Cool.
you. Thanks for the
welcome.
thanks for the extra viewers.
I was there first. That sounds like that sounds sus. I don't feel like you were the first. I don't know at what, but I call bullshit.
And last thing, Wolf. Some people were saying to show us your model.
Your tank models. And blink twice if you're in danger.
Yeah, are you in
I mean,
danger?
the
Blink
majority-
twice.
The majority are not in my room, but I do have I have two here. This one's more Hell Let Loose related. This is an
Nice.
Achilles. This light
Nice.
absolutely
Mhm.
sucks. It's behind me, but I got the crew in there. I got the full interior. Well, he's a little
Mhm.
loose, but that's one. And the second one I got in here
That's
is a little
hot.
dusty, but this is a mosquito like night fighter.
Nice. Where did you get those from?
It's
Don't-
really hot.
So it's a ridiculous story. I have a closet. We just moved into this new condo like a year and a half ago, and it's got like 100 closets. And one of like the walk-in closets, I just converted into my little male model studio.
That's hot.
So yeah, I got it like two desks in there. I made like an airbrush station with ventilation and everything to go out. So
Just to clear that up for the chat,
my biggest hobby.
it's just to clear that up for the chat. It's not a model studio like Wolf is going to take off his shirt. You sick fucks.
That's what that's what I was thinking.
You know, that just gave me a fucking great idea. OnlyFans, but it's me shirtless, just building fucking Gundam model kits.
Oh, there you go.
So, and then I also just painting my magazines for my loadouts. So, stay tuned. I'll drop the link when I'm ready.
Nice.
Do your loadouts work and when you get into the game, or just default and
You Tucker Thompson.
Hell Let Loose joke. Yeah.
So we have
somebody-
Hats Guy, Toys Guy. Who else has cool stuff? I guess
we have.
the
I
only
have
thing that-
Legos.
Wasted is living in 1983 with the lights in the background. So
I don't know. Those lights are pretty fucking
I
cool.
have
The only
Legos.
thing that
Who's
I
got
collect.
the flashlight?
Oh, that's what is that? Is that a fucking?
is that a Lego? Is that a Lego of a ATST?
That's a hell of a
It's
flashlight.
an AT Clone Wars, whatever. I
Flashlight.
forgot what it's called, but oh yeah.
Just imagine-
That's a weird looking butt plug, man. That's crazy.
The only thing that I collect, and it may fucking look bad on me. The rest are under my desk, but I collect bourbon bottles of fucking bottles that I just fucking kill. So, Four Roses here, some other shit I have on my desk. I probably shouldn't be touching this, but this is an autographed baseball from Trevor Hoffman. He was the all-time saves leader in the MLB until Mariano Rivera overtook him. That baseball actually came from when the Reds were playing the Padres that was on my mom's birthday in 2000. So I was like fucking 2 years old. He wrote a pretty cool message on there.
Nice.
All my
I saw
lights-
that Y wing.
All my collectibles are
Yeah.
in the crawl space.
Mhm.
I have an
And then-
engraved. I don't know if you can see it. I have an engraved
Here's
K bar.
another.
Yeah, I have an engraved K bar of my boot camp platoon and graduation date. on there, and I think that's just about everything I have here. One other thing that I do want to get for my parents because they have it is they have the U.S. flag that flew over the Capitol on the date of my boot camp graduation, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's all my collectibles.
Oh man, I'm trying to think
I'm
of
trying
what
to-
collectibles I have.
I'm trying to get that.
I just have a
that
lot
flag
of
from the
expensive
January 6th
hobbies.
riot.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. I'd want to get the flag that flies over the Capitol when Trump wins in 2024.
Right. Or
Oh,
loses in the riot.
I don't know. We could do this. We could save this for episode 7, or we could do it now. But I could give you guys a tour of the Silvia, in which I'm named after.
Yeah, we'll end on that.
Yeah.
Sneak peek.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead and
Save that for episode 7, dude.
save it for episode 7.
yeah, Werewolf. I was in the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps from
I
2017.
do have Commander Cody.
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps from 2017 to 2022.
Oh, sorry.
To answer your question.
Jesus.
Teddy, I met someone
Yes.
that I asked them, well, I know them now. At the time I just met them. It was my wife's friend. And she said, you guys like Star Wars, trying to get us to have a conversation. I said, oh, it's your favorite Star Wars movie. My personal favorite, I like Jedi because it's the most technologically advanced of the original. And you get to see the Emperor, Darth Vader, and Luke, that one scene. I think the rest of the movie is kind of trash, but that last 45 minutes is epic. His answer was Attack of the Clones.
Clone Wars.
I wanted to
Clone
never
Wars.
talk to him again.
Bro, no.
Is that your favorite?
Clone Wars. I know
Oh,
that's
oof.
like the one on Netflix, the series on Netflix. That I know that's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, okay,
all
that's
of them
different.
are
That's
great.
different.
All of them are pretty good, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get launched into the fucking weeb zone, and I'm here for
yeah.
it. But I can just see the comments coming. Okay, one last thing. I know I keep fucking saying that, but it's something that has kind of I wouldn't say overtaken the 8th because obviously Hell Let Loose is still the main priority. But have you guys seen in your clans a lot of people playing Warhammer?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I know-
Space Marines.
yeah.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about in Legion? Like,
We
what games
had,
other than Hell? Because I mean, obviously, you guys are like almost all level 500, so it's like
War Thunder.
all Hell Let Loose or nothing. But what other games are you guys playing in there?
So the 7th War Thunder is the reason Backpack got kicked out. He
Dude,
went
if you
off
say
on
some
Mars.
shit like Minecraft, I'm gonna be really pissed off.
No, but Flash and Thunder, if you know them, they play Minecraft. I see them on sometimes on Xbox. I'm like, what the fuck? Minecraft. I played it one time with my 7-year-old cousin. I didn't get it. But War Thunder was a big one that created a big divide. Because we had people in there. Former members of the 7th spent thousands of dollars, I will say, on War Thunder. Which actually, side story, led me
I
to
can't lie.
believe that people cheat in this game and Hell Let Loose. Because if you're willing to spend $5,000 in War Thunder, like
Yeah.
what a Zim's like $100. Like, oh yeah, I'd cheat for $100. I'm going to spend $5,000 on something, right? But what I think it was a game. It was a space. Did the Space Marine game come out like 8 months ago or something?
No,
No, you're thinking of
you're talking about
Helldivers.
Helldivers. is
Hell
what you're thinking.
Divers was the big one in the 7th.
Yeah.
Legion, we are trying to have nothing else but Hell Let Loose. Just because the way that the 7th aged, we were all addicted to Hell Let Loose at the beginning, and then people kind of went different ways. Space Marines and or whatever you guys, Space Divers, Hell Divers, that and War Thunder were the big diversions. And we had too much going on where after 2 years people left, but they stayed in the server because we were buddies, right? And so all of a sudden our server, like I think Wasted you were saying, was like 180, but we can't field a 50-person team, you know, because it's just old guys kind of hanging on, talking to their friends about War Thunder, to use Han's voice chat or whatever it's called. So we're trying pretty actively to not have really any of the other community side in Legion. Keep it purely competitive, hell let loose. Obviously, I think we have like a food channel, you know.
Do you have a weed
so
channel?
people can. I don't know.
I know
Let me
that
see.
was also that was always a big thing in the shit talk server was
Have,
getting weed channels. What's up, Teddy?
Oh yeah. Real quick, if there's stuff about Teddy on Reddit, that is not me. That is
Okay.
somebody else.
Sure,
That is not me.
That sounds
okay, you don't
way
believe
more
me? That's
sus.
fine.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, dude.
For someone who can't read the chat and has said that multiple times, to know that your name was getting blasted about in the chat about Reddit, that's
It's been blasted about 2 months already. So,
like I told you earlier, dude.
it's probably Broseville. There's another guy named Broseville.
Well, like I told you earlier, dude. People in the chat are gonna come up with their own story, and they're not gonna believe anything you say. So
I want to know what Winters, was that you that typed that, or is that someone else named Winters that said Wasted Brain Cell looks like 911Y?
That's someone else.
What the fuck does that mean?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
We have a channel, by the way, called Butthole Picks.
I love that.
So there is some other that's a good story. Very short as well.
Somebody had mentioned it. Oh, go ahead.
Another malarkey, not the sixth malarkey. Asked Krieg, probably 2 years ago, what he had to do as a recruit, and Krieg made the mistake of saying, "Send me a butthole pic, and I'll make you, a member." Malarkey was a member within a couple minutes. Yeah,
I love that.
Confirmed butthole pic was sent.
Somebody had mentioned earlier, I don't know, it was kind of far up the YouTube thing, but somebody asked to mention my voice comms channel. So there's a comms channel in our server dedicated. It's called Silvia Sessions, and what started as a regular general comms, like voice comms or whatever, it turned into we called it Silvia Sessions because it was like late one night we had won a match, and it went from drinking to having coffee and tea at 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about our lives and like the future of what we were doing just in our personal life. And then it got like really deep. I mean, we were talking like having some come to Jesus meetings. And so that's a server channel that we've had for a while now. But it's really cool because we all get in there and bullshit around, or like somebody needs to have like a serious talk like about life. I seem to be the go-to HR guy, I guess. So it's kind of funny.
So in the 8th we have a section called memorable quotes, and a lot of it is just snow, but not to expose anyone too much, and I won't say who said some of these things. There was one in there recently. They said, "Honestly, I don't even care who it is. If your ass was buffalo chicken dip, I'm eating that shit up." In the chat, someone said Brain Cell looks like he owns multiple 7-Elevens.
Because I look Indian. Jesus Christ, bro.
Snow. So
I'm as white as they come, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
So I will put Snow on blast.
I don't know. You don't have the cowboy hat.
So I will put Snow on blast for this one. So this was after we got our recent influx of some of the WRTB members. He said, "Brother, in this clan we only like feet pics and gay porn, so hell yeah." But shit, yeah.
We actually don't talk about a lot of other games in our server, right, Silvia? Like, there's not a lot of talk of it. We talk about a lot of other things, but I don't really see a lot of other games being talked about.
No, so we have like a War Thunder game room, and I think at one point there was like we had a Minecraft one, but then we just basically said go to a different server because it just clutters up the whole thing. So we've kind of stuck to Hella Loose in general. At one point, though, there was talk and I don't know what like everybody else's contingency plan is. I don't know if the 8th has one or Legion or 7th or anybody else or any of that. But like our contingency plan was like, do we just
have
all
a
go
rainbow
buy?
one.
Do we all just get like Xboxes and play Armor Reforger or whatever it is?
Apparently that's coming to PlayStation here soon, but who knows?
Yeah, so Ian, if that happens, then I'm interested to see what the fallout will be from that. I feel like the community as a whole may take a little bit of a hit, just because I personally like that genre of gameplay, like that. I like the milsim aspect of it, but I also like the conflicts, right? Like the modern weapons, the stuff that you can do with that. That just appeals to me more sometimes than World War II. So I wonder if that's going to be a little bit of a hit for the community overall.
Last question. Woof, do you hang your bronze medal of getting to level 500 in your house?
I actually, I wasn't the first. I think I was the third. I think it was Ohio backpacking than me. Oh yeah, bronze. Yeah. I was insulted for about 14 seconds when I don't know if you know on SME. I guess it's south of the church.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the 3-story houses. There's like a little tank in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And then upstairs, like one of the YouTubers, like Alpine Sniper or something, has a sniper rifle in his house, or like in the house that has his name on it. I was like a little bit annoyed that for like 5 seconds I was like, they should have given us something, right? Because like I didn't boost, I didn't go in Asia East servers. I was unemployed for like a year and a half. I was just an absolute degenerate. Now I'm a little bit mad again. Now that they have the building lobbies,
yeah.
I know people are jumping 100 levels in like 2 days. It kind of used to be. It's an absurd thing because it's a video game, right? But like, it was like I played a lot of hours for that,
Yeah.
Now there's going to be other people that.
How many hours do you have in the game?
I don't know. I don't look.
Would you even want to? Would you even want to?
You can't say that out loud.
I know it's not the most, which is surprising and not surprising. I think Kentucky has the most. He's like over 200 days, like well over.
Jesus.
Whatever that equates to.
That's not the first time I've heard him. That's not the first time I've heard his name being the most. I did hear somebody say that he just spends a lot of the time just spinning around in lobbies.
He'll be on comms. He'll be in your squad on comms, so just be like smoking pot or something. I don't know.
He probably bro. He probably forgets he's even playing.
Yeah, he's level 4 or something. Ohio and I were talking about it like last week. I think just because he joins our squad and we'll get like 30,000 points, and he does nothing, right? He has 0 across the scoreboard, but he's talking to us the whole game, so he just gets those points. So,
yeah. But all right, boys. Well, I definitely didn't expect it to go an hour and a half, but it did, and I think it was a good conversation. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate everyone in the chat. It definitely, you can tell when the degens showed up after the 8th and Legion game.
Do you have the link for the GoFundMe page for Teddy's internet?
We'll have to put one together. We'll definitely get that put together. But
sorry, Teddy, I don't even know you.
It's all right.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. You're looking forward to doing this again, and you guys have a good rest of your night.
Right on,
See you guys on episode 7.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
See ya.
And see you
See
guys.
you.